Greetings and Merry Christmas, stamp pickers, wherever you may be. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon and good night across the globe. I'm a little bit early, aren't I? But what I thought I'd do is have a look at some stamps to do with winter, to do with the cold, to do with, not Christmas as such, but snowy places. So we get rid of this. I've been writing my Christmas cards, as you can see. And what am I looking at today? Well, the thumbnail to this video is actually a new postbox that's been delivered to this place, Antarctica, possibly the South Pole. I didn't read the full article, but money has been raised from the royal household to have a new postbox with the king's stamp on it, if you will. I'll use that phrase. How about that? That's early in the morning or late at night for such a funny. It's funny. Anyway, so what I thought I'd do is have a look at my Antarctic and pole stamps. See how far I've got. Not too far recently. They're few and far between. They're possibly the only topical I do. I do Christmas, yeah, but there's billions of them out there. These are less common. But also, I made a purchase of some postcards, so I thought I'd just go through those as well. We better get on. Okay, so what have we got here? Australia, which is probably the nearest, certainly Commonwealth, possibly the tip of South America would be quite near to the continent of Antarctica, but Australia has a big old stake in it. They do have an area in there, and they have set off lots of expeditions from, the Romantic days in the late 1800s, early 1900s, even to this day. So that's a nice stamp. I don't know what it is. Here we've got Antarctic Territory, so that belongs to the Australian people. And there we've probably got Shackleton and I don't know. Next we've got Australia Antarctic Territory again, elephant seal, which it keep you alive, but it's boring to eat when that's all you've got. And also these are protected now, so whereas before expeditions would go down there and feed themselves aplenty, and use the blubber for oil and all sorts of stuff, that is not allowed anymore. Here we've got a nice map one. This is CCCP, so this is the USSR to the likes of you and me. And they have some interest, obviously, in penguins and ice, and also Antarctica. Here we've got Sir James Ross. James Ross, the captain who discovered the territory. He lived from 1800 to 1862. You see his map and stuff going on there. A great figure in, he's the granddaddy of all Antarctic exploration because he found the place, he discovered it. Here we have Robert Falcon Scott, 1868 to 1912. 1912, the year of his death, and it is was buried on the continent of Antarctica. Him and his 4 other colleagues died on the trip back from the South Pole. It's a famous story. Has stirred the heart of every Englishman, every schoolboy. So a great man. Here we have Australian Antarctic Territory again, 30 cents. Not all snow, obviously. So there's a bit of rock there. Next we've got Antarctic Research. This is a New Zealand stamp, and they're interested in geology with regard to this stamp, and also you get the you get the sledges and people waving flags, and so it's not a modern stamp as say for today, but probably from the 70s where things were more likely to be waving flags than today. Let's put it like that. Next we've got something that I cut off. It was the Scots the 1912 Scott expedition, Terra Nova, I think it was called. I think it was. And so this is 2003. It does commemorate that. Nice 68p there. Here we have Sir Douglas Mawson, who was probably the greatest Australian explorer of the Antarctic, and lived into old age, and adventures that they deserve filming. Look him up, Douglas Mawson. I think he was originally born in Yorkshire, but emigrated at a very young age to Australia. Here we have a Spanish one. You wouldn't associate Spain, the land of the sun, with Antarctic, but everyone wants a piece of the pie. Here we have Hungary, that seems to have stamps about every topic that you can think of, and here we have a character who may or may not be Hungarian. It's called Fabian von Bellinghausen, so it's probably Germanic, Hungarian, but of Germanic origin, I'm afraid that boundaries change, don't they? Borders change, so, you get German areas in Hungary and you get Hungarian areas in Germany. Well, that's a too little. Here we've got Polska, so Poland. Now that can be cold. When it snows there, it tends to stay there. And here we've got penguins. And there are penguins aplenty. Also, a species that are not allowed to be killed for fun anymore, so you can't just go there. The dogs, when I've never seen penguins before, they'd attack them. Penguins have got a very pea brain, so they just got curiosity, so they go up to the dogs to see what they were, and would get slaughtered. So here we've got a USA, this is back in early 1900s. USA, they're protected now. So here, and indeed, survivors of Scott's expedition did work towards the preservation of the wildlife down in the US, down in the Antarctic. Here we've got USA. They, of course, will be very interested in this. Richard Byrd, he flew over the whole continent. Republic of Argentina, so yes, they have their piece of the pie by the look of it. And finally, we got Belgium, Antarcticus. They also were very interested in exploring back in the early days. Here we have a 1948 stamp. Anyway, time is moving on. We'll move on to what I've bought. So I thought I'd treat myself to some Himalaya, Everest, and other around that area postcards. So we'll see. I haven't looked at them yet, so this is my first review of them. I've just received them this morning. What we've got here, Kanchenjunga from Cart Road. So it's like a painting, probably by D. Mordecai. It's anything very thin and old by the look of it. Postcard address only, so not that old. Yeah. I'm hoping some will have been used and sent postally through the mail. But I do collect them for some reason. And this lot came as a sort of, I've never seen so many in one place together. And for the price, I just had to get it. Here's St. Paul's School and Darjeeling. So what I'll do after is I'll look this place up, see if it's still going. But imagine in a school there. Wow. Of course, it was part of the British Empire, so it will be full of Brits. English, Irish, Scottish, Welsh, Manx. Very nice. Here we've got more of a photographic postcard. That's an old photograph, but this is more sort of modern. And it has been used. How nice is that? Planters Club, Darjeeling. That sounds very Tiffin, doesn't it? Dear A. Love. Mount Everest in the distance, overlooking a monastery. Rate the view. So cold I forgot my woolies. I have keep on the move. I have to keep on the move or sit before a fire as I am now. Keep well all of you. Be home soon. Fond love, George Parker. So it's to Miss Whitley, Lorraine, Fort Road, New Haven, Sussex. Wow. So we got Everest in the distance because it's there. Wow, that's nice. Right, here we got another Darjeeling postcard. Bit old stainy. Not minted anyway, but I suspect it's been through the post, so it has. Let's just have a look at the stamp, because we are stampies, aren't we? India stamp. India. And by Airmail par Avion. That's nice. And here we have a very early one. One Anna. So this is quite early from Darjeeling. So that's quite nice. That will need to be looked up. Let's see if we can find an address here. Gilling Lane, Kent, England. Gilling Lane, Kent. Mr. C. Walker, I'll have a look at that after because we must plough on. Time's going on. We've only got a few minutes left. The snowy range above Darjeeling. This is not used. Got some lettering on the back. Got some words on the back. Bengali, Bengali, India. Again, we've got that lettering MGJ. I wonder if that is the name of the owner. Darjeeling. So a lot of these are Darjeeling, where the best tea in the world is made. Snow from Birch Hill Road. Sounds very English, doesn't it? Birch Hill Road. And it looks a bit sort of English there, but it ain't. So there's a few of these. We then go to Kanchenjunga, Darjeeling again. And this is a telephoto, which presumably is a zoom in. Some sunset, that's nice. Not coloured, black and white. Again, unused. More photographic evidence of the place. Unused. Unused. This is a different Universal Postal Union. Kanchenjunga. Very snowy. I like these. The snow from St. Charles. No. None of these others are being used now. No, that's just wow. Greetings from Darjeeling, Himalaya. Inde Britannique Union Postale Universelle. And more. I suppose when you've seen one mountain, you've lose a will to live after seeing a lot of mountains. Are there any more that are written on? Let's look quickly. This is a coloured one, so we're getting into the modern day. I do like them. I prefer them to be written on, but I'm not against these. I could actually use them myself. Sent through the post. Here we have more lettering. Not sure what that means. Unfortunately, it's just the two that have been postally used. That gives, well, a view of Everest. So, yeah, I think, well, let's put it this way. 10 of these cost me £5. I know it's for charity. These cost me £5 with postage. And these add to my collection, so I'm very happy. The two postally used ones I'm especially happy with because I can look into the names, I can look into the addresses, and I can, maybe look into the stamps, the date. This one in particular, and it's an earliest one, isn't it? By early, I mean for people to be sending post from India. That's had to go on a journey. But that's not damage, that's something that's attached to it there. We'll leave it at that for now. I wish you all a Merry Christmas. We'll return to this again. I wish you all a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and a healthy New Year. Keep stamping, keep enjoying life through stamps and through philately, and wherever you are across the world, a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. This is Stamp Collecting Fun, signing out. Bye for now.